Do you want to boost your Etsy sales by up to 200% or even more on a single listing for 5 seconds work a day? Of course you do. So listen up, because I'm going to tell you step by step how I boosted my Etsy sales on one of my listings with one of my crazy tests. I'm going to share with you step by step why I decided what I was going to do, what I did, what results I got, and is it breaking any of Etsy rules? So you're going to want to stick around and listen, and hit the thumbs up button if you want to double or treble your sales on one listing. Hey, I'm Duthie, and if you're new here, I discovered Etsy ads were really ripping me off. So I've been on a journey to try and figure out if I can spend as much or less money on other ways of boosting my Etsy listings and getting more sales, and getting a way better return on investment than these rubbish Etsy ads. So one method of boosting Etsy views and increasing your presence on Etsy is relisting. And there's a lot of controversy about this. Should you do it? Shouldn't you do it? Is it breaking Etsy rules? Does it work? Is it going to hurt your shop? And since I mentioned this as one possible method, this has been the one that people have been most interested in. Have I actually done this, and have I published the results yet? So today's the day. So the simple thoughts behind this is it only costs 20 cents to relist an item on Etsy, and Etsy do tell us that a relisted item gets a slight boost in search. But is it against the rules to use this as a strategy? Well, actually no. Etsy do mention not using relisting as a strategy to boost your sales. But they just mention it in their ultimate guide that it's not an effective strategy as working on good SEO. They don't say we can't do it. So why wouldn't this work? Why have Etsy advised against it? Why is it not a great strategy? Let's dig into that. So if you relist and relist and relist a failing listing, one that customers have said, no, we don't like that, then it's going to get its little temporary boost. But each time, Etsy might be saying, no, we know this is no good, so it gives it a less and less boost. Imagine, and I can't remember who I'm quoting here, but imagine you're at a fancy party and there's plates about the place with mini pizzas and mini burgers. I don't go to fancy parties often. I don't know if they do that kind of thing. But every now and again, when a waiter goes round holding a plate of one of either these mini burgers or mini pizzas, that gives a boost in people eating the mini burgers and mini pizzas, not only when they take it off the plate that the waiter brings round, but if they've had a wee slice of something they enjoyed, they might go to the table and grab a little bit more. So it's a good strategy by the party organiser to send the waiters out with some plates of food. But the party organiser is noticing a trend. When the waiters go out, the mini pizza plates are cleared. People eat them and they're eating more and more mini pizzas. But the burgers, people aren't massively interested in. There's maybe only a couple shifted. This is weird. Now the party organiser can order into the kitchen, can say, I want more of these food. So he's got a choice. Do I order more mini pizzas because that's what people are wanting? Or do I keep on pushing out those burgers and eventually they'll get used up so I can order more pizzas and burgers? He starts to push his waiters out a wee bit more, but each time the people who were interested in eating burgers have already eaten these mini burgers. They don't want any more, so it's happening less and less. So eventually the party organiser sees what his party goers really like and realises there is no point. When he sends waiters out, there's no point giving them a plate of burgers. He sends all the pizzas out. People eat loads of pizzas. He calls to the kitchen, asks for more pizzas. Mini pizzas are the winner. And that's the same if you keep on renewing and renewing and renewing your listing. You're saying to Etsy, hello waiter Etsy, can you take my listings out to the party of buyers and show them to all these buyers? And Etsy goes, sure thing mate, I'll do that, we'll send them out. That didn't really work. Let's try it again. Still didn't work. Let's try, no. I've got other people, Etsy speaking, I have other people who I could be showing their listings out to, and it'll make me more money. So I've tried, your listings don't work, ain't gonna show them no more. So if you have a failing listing and you keep on pushing it forwards, you're just telling Etsy again and again that this listing's a loser. But alternatively, if your listing has a history of being a pizza, if most of the time you send it out with that little boost, it does well and people are enjoying it, then Etsy has some good metrics from it. Your party organizer goes, yeah, pizzas are good. So it might happen. It might have happened that once you've sent the waiter out with the pizzas and nobody was in the mood for pizzas. So you do it again at another point because you think, no, this is a really good pizza. This is really good. So you send it out a second time at a different party and it does better. So there's like that kind of luck factor that when you have your boost, the right people have to be there. So if you have a listing that you genuinely think is a pizza and it hasn't been tried and tried and tried again, then try a couple more times to find out if you have a pizza or a burger. So my plan for my experiment to figure out if this really strange analogy is actually working was, well, firstly, I had to find my pizza listing. I do have a listing. I've had a listing for a while, this cat bookmark that does do really well in bursts. When it's seen in search, when there's lots of people searching, it does seem to do rather well. And visually, it gets shared a lot in Pinterest. But it's not a regular seller all the time. It sells more at busy periods and it's calming down. Pinterest isn't going so mad, so maybe it's had its day, but it definitely was a good listing, so let's not give up on it yet. 2020 has not been the best year for this listing. It did much better in the past. It peaked at about 2018 and has been dropping off ever since, but I thought, yeah, this is a good one to try. And when I check on eRank, people are still searching for the main keyword of cat lover's gift, but they are searching a little bit less, so it's still worth experimenting with. There still are buyers out there. So I decided to experiment with this at the peak time of when there are most buyers out there. Now, there are also most sellers out there. So this is the hardest time to jump in November and try and get an item to rank when other people are having items that have sold and relisted and sold and relisted. So it's really difficult to rank, but I figured it's also the best time to try and see if this is going to work. So I started relisting this 1 to 2 times a day. Didn't go crazy, just relisted it a couple of times throughout the day. And I started this on the 10th of November, so peak time of things ramping up for buyers. And actually the results were instant. Not only did this listing start selling, but some of my other similar listings were selling, which makes sense. People are finding that in the search and then poking about in my shop a little bit and finding similar things that they like. So that was good. But for the purpose of this search, I'll just have a look at that one metric on that one bookmark. So comparing that time period with the year before, views are actually down quite a bit. However, views from search are up. They're up 144%. And for that time period, my revenue has increased by nearly 3 times. That's amazing. And conversion on that item has gone from 0.5% to over 2%. Conversion is the percent of people seeing an item that actually go on to buy the item. So higher conversion is a really good thing. It means you're getting seen by the right eyeballs, by the people who want to buy. And I spent $4.20 in relisting, whereas I would have spent 60 quid on Etsy ads. So roughly that's about £4 to get £163 more sales. So can I do better than Etsy ads just renewing my listings? Oh yeah, I totally can. But here are my thoughts on this. Don't just do this willy-nilly and say, Pam said by renewing, and then spend a fortune on renewing items. Here's my thoughts. Firstly, pick a listing that has already shown itself to be a good performer in a fairly competitive niche. And pick a time when there are people searching more. All searches have times of higher and lower buyers. And this could really help you if you think at strategic times. For example, if you're coming back from vacation, your shop has been closed for a little while, your competitors have been making sales and are doing a little bit better in search, might not hurt to relist a couple of times to get yourself seen there because you know your items are good. Or if you're reactivating or creating new listings for a season, if you don't have a history on Valentine's Day, Easter, or whatever else it is, it might be an idea to get some data, just like you might advertise these. Rather than advertise these, you could spend a little bit of money, spend the money you were going to spend on advertising by renewing a couple of times a day, just to see how these new listings or new season listings do for this new season. And also testing new ranges. If you found a new keyword and you're trying it on new listings that are a little bit different than what you're used to, then it would be a cool thing maybe to get this little boost, to get them seen a few times rather than just the once when you create the listing, but just keep them there in front of mind for a little while to see how buyers behave when they see your item. And also when you see a big surge in buyers, if something big starts to happen like masks last year, but you can have a look at the trend buzz hot in eRank. If you see a term is just suddenly blowing up out of nowhere, it might be an idea to look at your listings that have kind of done okay, but they're not ranking in search for that at the minute, and relist them a couple of times to get them seen by this big surge of people. But I'm going to say, do not do this for more than a couple of weeks and then sit back and assess the results. Don't do this as a daily strategy for the next year. Do a couple of weeks or something and then sit back and see what it did. And also don't do it tons of times a day. When you relist, you get a boost, you do a little bit better in search, and then you fall off over time depending on how much those listings, depending on how much customers search for those search terms. So if you keep on renewing, you're not going to get a better boost than the boost you already got. If you're already on the first page, you're not going to go on to an extra first page. So give it time to fall away before you renew it again. And don't do it at a time when no one is searching for those keywords. Use the eRank Keyword Explorer to see the trends of people searching for keywords and a bit of common sense. Less people are searching for Halloween just now, so it wouldn't be a great time to test your Halloween product. Make sure it's where the buyers are just now. It's where the buyers are searching just now when you test the thing. Obviously, your mileage may vary, but my momentum kept going. If you're seen and you make some sales and then you're relisting because you've made some sales, then that gives really good metrics to Etsy, and they are going to likely show your item a bit more. You're going to have, hopefully, return buyers coming back. So it's really possible that you'll see a continued boost for a period of time afterwards, depending on how competitive the niche that you're in is. So let me know, have you tried strategically renewing your listings, and how's it worked for you?